Good morning. I'm Steve Wolf, Wholesale Marketing Associate at Sprague.
And I'm Joel Williams, Director of Refined Product Sales here at Sprague.
Welcome to Sprague's Refined Products Review, where we discuss what's moving the market and giving you insight into what we see every day. So, Joel, another week of some ups and downs, but the market overall pretty much where it was last week. How have things stabilized?
Yeah, so I think stabilized is a tough word. I'd actually go with steadied out. The world right now is anything but stable. I mean, you look at the situation in Venezuela, still kind of waiting to see what's going to happen there. Iran, obviously, a lot of talks, but not a lot of action at this point. Russia, Ukraine, that's still a full blown war going on, and energy infrastructure is being targeted every day. And then the U.S. is using kind of tariffs as both a carrot and a stick, trying to get China and India to stop buying Russian oil. So, overall, it's really, I wouldn't say stable, but it's been steady. Basically, the market said, with all these things, different things going on, this is the level of risk that we believe should be priced in. The market, I think, is pretty happy with the premium that it has put in there. And, what you're seeing with any of these major conflicts is, this is sort of, stable. The reason it's steady is because you really have this. And at any one point, you're going to see one way give, and it could be a very bearish or bullish development. So we're kind of waiting to see what's going to happen there.
Well, I guess time will tell. As we move on to the Northeast, what are you looking at there?
Yeah, so there's really four big things that I'm looking at the Northeast right now. One is that the basis is really high. Two is that the backwardation for the March roll, that's still pretty steep at over 8 cents right now. And when you look, there's really not a lot of trades being done in the harbor right now. So it's very hard for everyone to get a good idea of what product is really worth. And the final thing is last 2 weeks, with the DOEs coming out, we've seen some huge distillate draws in pad one particularly.
So, what does all that mean to the common folk?
Any one of those indicators would tell me to look at supply in New York Harbor and potentially be concerned. With all four of them saying what they're saying, it's the market screaming at us basically that supply is super tight in New York Harbor. And so while it has warmed up, which has eased a little bit demand, I think everyone knows that most people are still a little bit behind on their deliveries, and warm is all relative. Heating systems are still running, and there's a lot of oil still being consumed out there. So things will continue to be remain challenging here on the next few weeks, much as have been the last few weeks. Again, there's sort of a light at the end of the tunnel, but it's still at the end of the tunnel.
You mentioned a few problems. How do those get solved?
Ultimately, the way to solve tight supply in New York Harbor is for supply to come into New York Harbor. I mean, that's not rocket science there, but the market it's really a self-correcting force. And I spoke about basis values being high, and what that really does is creating a financial incentive for refiners to send products to the Northeast. And refiners are smart. They're going to take a look at what that value is, and they're going to push barrels this way. The challenge that we have is that these reinforcements, they take time to get here. So we're kind of waiting to see, some cargoes are headed this way. I'm sure there'll be some more behind it. But, until we get into that point of supply, equilibrium where supply and demand meet each other, you're going to see basis values remaining high, which again is going to kind of attract that supply. So the market's doing its thing, but it takes some time here.
We mentioned a few, logistic challenges previously. Any update on those?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same story. A lot of the stuff's the same story here this week. There's still a lot of ice out in the Hudson. Um, the equipment out there is really taking a beating, both at the racks and the barges and everything. It's been a tough winter for them. So we're seeing maintenance, unplanned maintenance kind of creep up here, new things every day. And, you know, basically, the pipelines are still running behind. And so, things are getting better, but there's still plenty of challenges out there. So we're kind of navigating through all of those.
Any final thoughts for our viewers?
When you look at the supply and the wholesale supplier situation in the Northeast right now, it's really both a financial and a logistical minefield out there for people, for suppliers like us. And each supplier in the market is kind of deciding, what do they do about this minefield? Some are stepping back and saying, no way, I don't want anything to do. I'm not taking a risk and stepping on it. Other ones are really kind of stepping very slowly and very thoughtfully trying to get through it. But as such, are really falling behind because they're not going fast enough. And then there's a few of us out there, very much like Sprague, that are saying, we think we can figure this out. There's a lot of minds out there. We're forging ahead, full speed, doing the best we can to keep everyone wet. But it is a minefield, and when you're going fast through a minefield, you're going to step on some mines. And so, you will see some disruptions occasionally in places, and some challenges, but you'll see things, basically, coming out right behind it. But, at the end of the day, we feel that it's incumbent to do the best we can to get as much supply to the market as we can at a reasonable price right now. And so we're going to forge ahead and keep doing this.
Well, thanks so much for joining me today, Joel.
Hey, thank you very much, Steve.
If you haven't seen it yet, check out our latest special feature, an overview of Sprague's premium heating oil, Heat Force, now available on our YouTube channel. And be sure to mark your calendars for our next special feature, a panel discussion with Sprague's Women in Leadership, airing March 6th.
That's all for today. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back next Wednesday with another Refined Products Review. Refine your insight.
Fuel your success.
Didn't do this view.
Oh, sorry.
Did I? If you haven't seen it yet, check out our. There you go. If you haven't seen it yet, check out. Check. I can't get check.
Check out.
I've only been saying that word my whole life.
That's all. Now you got me.
I know.
You got me.